Good morning.
So why the growing trend with these prepaid cards?
Two things. We have a very large unbanked population in the United States, people who don't have a banking relationship. For them, prepaid cards are cheaper than using check cashing services. Also, a lot of consumers got into trouble with credit, so they're steering clear. But we also have the banks nudging us in the direction of these cards because at the end of July, a new law goes into effect that limits the amount of money they can make on debit transactions. They'd like us to use these instead.
Well, the idea of prepaid credit cards are pretty much as they sound. You basically pay in advance and you avoid the risk of getting into debt later.
That's
but
right.
there are pros and there are cons, and you want to make sure that we know what they are. Starting with the pros, you say that there is no approval process.
Right. You don't have to have a credit history. So these are a good option for a younger student, a college student, as well as those unbanked people.
Obviously, you can't get into debt unless you buy one that's too big, I guess.
Well, no, you can't get into debt at all because you are putting your own money on these cards, and when it's gone, it's gone.
All right, and it helps with budgeting.
It does. If you want to go on vacation and you want to limit the amount of money that you can spend, again, unless you reload it, this is going to limit you.
And the biggest benefit of all, no interest.
No interest rate, right? You're not paying that. But on the flip side, there are other charges, and we should talk about that.
All right, those are the cons, and you say you don't build credit as a result, and that's a big deal.
It is, because if you want to qualify for a mortgage or a car loan later in life, rent an apartment, all those sorts of things, you need a credit history. This is not going to accomplish that for you.
Something most people don't realize, that they're not accepted everywhere you want to shop.
Right, and here we talk to the Network Branded Prepaid Card Association, and they say if you've got a card with a logo on it, like a Visa, MasterCard, American Express, they will be accepted where those cards are accepted, but you've got to make sure you know what you're carrying.
You say that there are less consumer protections if you have this kind of card. For what?
Again, for fraud. And if you've got that logo, you are going to be covered for the same things that network is covered for typically, but if you have an unbranded card, you got to watch it.
So you mean if somebody steals your card and uses it, then you're not protected? Is
right.
That what you're saying?
We're used to talking about zero liability protection on our Visas and our MasterCards. And in the case of these cards, if you don't have the little logo, you got to watch out.